welcome back to DNA Basins. Today's topic is endosymbiotic theory or endosymbiotic association. So, endo means inside and symbiotic means the mutual interactions. So, let's get started about this theory. There are two concepts in this theory. First is according to one view, that is the origin by invagination. So according to that view, organelles of eukaryotic cells, we know that eukaryotic cells of all the organelles, they might have evolved by the invagination of the surface membrane of the primitive prokaryote cell. So you can see in the first picture the infoldings in the plasma membrane of ancestral prokaryote that gave rise to endomembrane components, that is including the nucleus and the endoplasmic reticulum. So this is one view that by the origin is by the invagination. That means it might have evolved by invagination of the surface membrane of primitive prokaryotic cells. Next is by the endosymbiosis origin, that is symbiotic origin. So according to Lean Margulis, some ancestor predator host cell, that means some anaerobic predator host cells, that is eukaryotes, engulfed primitive aerobic bacteria, but they didn't digest them. So the oxygen respiring bacteria, that is prokaryotes, established themselves permanently inside the host cell, that is the eukaryote, and developed mutual association. So an endosymbiotic event is taking place between the ancestral eukaryote that consumed the aerobic bacteria, that is prokaryote, and that eventually led to the development of mitochondria. So first, by this symbiotic origin, the eukaryotic host cell or the predator host cell become the first eukaryotic cell. We can't say that is the eukaryotic cell, but that lead to the formation of eukaryotic cells. So that predator host cells become the first eukaryotic cells. Next, the predators that capture the aerobic bacteria as well as photosynthetic bacteria. So one, it engulfed the aerobic bacteria and that evolved into the mitochondria, and the second, it consumed the photosynthetic bacteria that evolved into the chloroplast. So in this way it evolved the mitochondria and the chloroplast. So the aerobic bacteria established themselves as mitochondria and blue-green algae as chloroplast. Blue-green algae or the photosynthetic bacteria evolved into the chloroplast. So this is all about the endosymbiotic theory. Endosymbiotic theory usually means there will be a symbiotic relationship between the ancestral eukaryote as it consumed the aerobic bacteria and that evolved into the mitochondria, and in second step it also consumed the photosynthetic bacteria or the blue-green algae that evolved into the chloroplast. Correct. So one, it will evolve into the photosynthetic bacteria and the modern photosynthetic eukaryote, and the aerobic bacteria, it developed into the modern heterotrophic eukaryote. So this is mostly the origin of eukaryotes, and this theory, there are two aspects. As I said, one is the origin by invagination, by the invagination of surface membrane from primitive prokaryotic cells to eukaryotic cells, and second one is the symbiotic origin. As I have already discussed, there will be symbiotic relationship between the predator cell and the oxygen respiring bacteria, and the aerobic bacteria, it evolved into the mitochondria, and the photosynthetic bacteria or the blue-green algae that evolved into the chloroplast.